If the Afghan judicial authorities decide to release a prisoner, it is of no concern to the U.S. and should be of no concern to the U.S. And I hope that the United States will stop harassing Afghanistan's procedures and judicial authority.
Unbelievable. A highly controversial move in Afghanistan as 65 prisoners are freed from prison to help appease the Taliban. Several of those detainees are tied to attacks on Americans, and now officials are concerned this move is going to free terrorists to attack once again. Joining us now with his insights, his keen insights, Lieutenant General Tom McInerney. Welcome. This is one of those outrage stories that boggles the mind. And we have not heard anything yet from the White House about the news that Afghan has chosen to make this move and publicly rebuke the U.S. for even offering concerns about these prisoners who were tied to attacks on Americans to releasing them.
Uma, this reaches a low point in our relations with Afghanistan and the long period that we have been there fighting. It disrespects the American people. The White House hasn't said anything. It now sets up collusion where the Afghan troops see their president colluding with the Taliban. So are they going to try to attack the Taliban and rid them of that? No, this is probably the most deleterious decision and statement that we have seen in this war, and it has huge implications to Afghanistan going right back to the Taliban. It's very, very troubling.
We went there to help get rid of the Taliban, and now Karzai this week calling them, referring to them as his brothers and sisters.
Yes, and that's what, we've still got 38,000 troops there. I think Bill O'Reilly really said it better than anybody else when he said we ought to try them for corruption and put our own special forces to take out those 65. We know that 23 of those people had IED, explosive residue, on their hands, and so they were directly involved. I happen to think that and know that all 65 were involved with killing at least 32 Americans, probably more.
Unbelievable.
And this catch and release
policy. And not to hold
policy,
anybody accountable for this.
No one's being held accountable. And we're just not saying anything about it. And I think we should do something.
I mean, the administration's position, basically, Karzai is going to be out of office soon. So they're just basically biding their time till they see that he leaves and hope for the best when somebody else takes over.
Yeah, but what's that leave us? You know, it's rippling through the whole Afghan society. They're saying the Americans are not doing anything about it. They're accepting it. And so the catch and release strategy, policy, is going to be a failure for us. And we turned over that prison with that it would be mutually, that both the U.S. and the Afghan government would have to agree as to who was released, and they completely ignored it. So I think it's having a huge impact on our strategy going forward.
What about the concerns to our troops who remain there?
Well, the 38,000 troops that we have got there, I can assure you from personal conversations with certain people that they are furious about it. The Pentagon is furious about it. The military, I'm talking about the people in uniform, and yet we haven't seen any response from the administration on it publicly that really ought to come out of the White House.
Do you expect to hear anything? Are you hearing that people are saying to the president, you got to go out there and say something about this, because this really, in a way, it just steps on the sacrifices that have been made by men and women from this country who have fought and died over there to protect them.
We have lost 2,000 people since this surge strategy and the president came in, put it out, as well as 32,000 that have been wounded in action. And the American people expect, I believe, the administration to say something and to do something. And I think there are different degrees of what can be done. I'm a lot more tougher on what should be done, and I'd make sure that we took them out, because we know where they are, and the fact is the American people are expecting this, but we have not heard a peep out of the White House, as you pointed out earlier.
It is unbelievable, and I hope that we are going to hear something. Maybe there's going to be pressure from the military to have the president say something, but we'll have to watch and see. Always great to see you. Always thankful for your keen insights.
Thanks, Uma. The American people deserve more.
Thanks for joining us.